Hey YouTube, welcome to Comics and Stuff. Hooray! So happy 4th. It's the 4th of July. It's amazing, it's fun, it's exciting. There's gonna be fireworks and blah 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 blah. So I thought I'd just do a special video. As you saw in the title, it's How to Survive Comic-Con for Noobs. So if you've never been to a Comic-Con, or if you've only been to one or two and you're not sure what to do, this is the video to watch. Couple things before I start. You might be wondering why I'm not wearing a shirt. Well, that's because I want to show off my new Star Wars tattoo. Check that out. Now, I am going to need your help, YouTube, because I was supposed to get some other stuff right here, but it didn't really fit. My arm would have looked cramped, so I'm leaving it to YouTube to decide, or to help me decide, what I'm going to get right here. So leave that in the comments below. Just be like, hey, Devin, you should get this. It needs to be Star Wars related. Just to let you know, has to be some form of Star Wars right here. Now, having said that, let me quickly put some clothes on. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so... okay, so we're gonna get into this list. Now, this was a request video from one of my followers from way back in the day. One more quick thing. I'm at like 100 or 250 subscribers. Holy shit. Thank you, YouTube. It's so appreciated, you guys have no idea. This is really long. Okay, let's get into the list. So step one is bring food and water. That is one of the most important things that I can tell you about going to your first Comic-Con. Please bring food and water and bring comfy shoes. Now, I'm not sure what kind of Comic-Cons are in your town, but if you go to like a large 3-day Comic-Con and you have a 3-day pass, you're going to want some comfy shoes. Your feet will get tired, you will get sore, and if you don't have comfortable shoes, you're going to get cranky. Bring food, because food at Comic-Cons, or if you're like in the middle of a downtown area, can get expensive. Whenever I go to Emerald City Comic-Con, I either bring my own food or I only go to Subway, just because there's one in the convention center. But if you don't have access to a Subway or a Starbucks, pack food, bring water. You're going to get thirsty. I think that's one of the most important things, at least to me, when you're sitting, especially if you're sitting in line at the very beginning of the con and you're waiting with the other 4,000 people waiting to get inside the convention center. It's going to get hot, it's going to get sweaty, you're going to get tired, you're going to get bored. Bring food and water, and bring entertainment as well. I always bring my Nintendo 3DS or, you know, something like that. Bring my laptop and watch a movie. But that's step one. Bring food, water, comfortable shoes, and entertainment. Step 2, research. Make a plan. You know, before you go to any Comic-Con, make sure you go onto their website and take a good look at the floor plan. Take a look at the list. They'll generally have a list of everybody who's going to be in the exhibitor alley and in the artist alley. Every year before I go to Comic-Con, I will go through each of those lists and write down every single table that I want to visit first. Print out a map. They generally have the map in PDF form where I can just print off the webpage, and I just dot every single table I want to go to. It helps cut out a lot of search time when you're actually at the con, because you don't want to spend your time at Comic-Con getting lost. You want to spend your time going to the things that you want to go see. So yeah, research the floor plan. Make sure that you know where you're going to be entering. Make sure you know where the bathrooms are, for God's sakes. Make sure you know where the concessions are. Make sure that you know where the rest area is, where the celebrity area is, where the stairs are, XYZ. Research. Yeah. Let's go on to step 3. Now. Alright, step 3. Walkthrough. Now, I know I just said don't spend your time getting lost, but it's different than walkthrough. Now, generally, before I start visiting all my tables, I do like to take one walkthrough of the con. I will circle the perimeter, right? Go through the outer wall of the entire convention, and then kind of weave my way through all the booths. And if I see anything else that I may have missed on the exhibitor list, the artist alley list, I'll make a note of it and I'll come back. So that just kind of helps you get your lay of the land, makes you, or helps you kind of figure out where you need to go, where you need to be. Look for landmarks. You know, there's always banners on the ceiling of Comic-Con. There's always going to be like, you know, 300 section with a predator on it, and the 400 section with an alien on it. You know, the kind of that sort of stuff. They have those at most large Comic-Cons, so make sure you take notes of those. Those also help, like, with landmarks when you're trying to meet up with friends. You say, well, meet me under the 400 banner, and it's very obvious and notable. So That's that. So let's move on to step 4. So step 4 is budget. Make sure you budget yourself. That is super important. You need to figure out how much you can spend each day. Make sure you don't break your wallet. Make sure that you can pay your bills, for God's sakes. I've made that mistake before where I just like, forget about it. I'm just gonna go spend money. No, always budget. If you're going to San Diego Comic-Con, it's a 4-day con. That's it's the biggest convention in the world. You don't want to go there and just spend $1,000 a day or, just bankrupt yourself. So always set yourself a budget. Make sure that you save. Make sure that you know how much you can spend. Make sure you know what you're looking for so you have an idea of what you're going to spend and kind of find a happy medium within those prices. Personally, Emerald City Comic Con, I'm a big spender when it comes to comic books. I'm like a comic bookaholic, if that was a term or mental disease or anything like that, comic bookaholic. So my budget is about $300 a day at Emerald City Comic Con, Thursday through Sunday. So, sorry I keep reaching under here. My little list that I have is on my phone. Yeah, so that's step 4. Make sure you have a good, solid budget. Don't break it. Don't go past it. If you spend more than, say you have $300 a day, if you spend more than $300 in one day, you got to take it out from the next day. Don't screw that up. Having said that, let's go to 5. So step 5 is don't get fooled. When I say that, I'm talking about Comic-Con prices. Now, it all really depends on what you're looking for. If you're there for photo ops, if you're there for collecting, if you're there for dealing, if you're there for just the toys or the exclusives or just to take some pictures, don't get fooled by prices. There's something within the comic books community called, Comic-Con prices. And that's kind of like when they'll take, some people, not all of them. I know some very well respected comic book dealers, but sometimes they can overprice things. And when I say that, I'm talking about, you want this Aquaman number 18. I use Aquaman because he's one of my favorite characters. But say you want to pick up an Aquaman 18, it's about a $60 comic book in, decent condition, and you find it for double that. You find it for $120. Don't get fooled. Make sure that you have your eBay with you. Make sure that you have your comic book price guide with you. Make sure that you just have like a general knowledge of how much the thing that you want is worth, so that you don't end up paying $50 for something that's only worth $15. You know what I'm saying? There. For example, one really good example actually that I can pull up and show you right now. So these Figma figures. Now these are really cool. They're from Nintendo. They're not from Nintendo, but they're like anime characters. I don't know. I saw Zelda or Link, so Legend of Zelda Link. But you'll find these at Comic Cons, and people will be charging $50 to $60 for them. You can find them online for $15 to $20. I apologize, Link, for almost calling you Zelda. That's gonna bug me for the rest of the day. Anyways, though. So yeah, don't get fooled by Comic-Con prices. That sometimes they can get very ridiculous. I found one of these guys, maybe just a little more higher grade than 3.0, selling for $3,000. I got this for less than $300. So, make sure you are well researched. But when it comes to price, you can also haggle, which is step 6. Haggling. Haggle. People at Comic Cons, especially like rare comics dealers, they have a huge inventory. They don't want to lug it all home, so they want to get rid of their stock. But they still need to make money. So just keep that respect in mind that these people are here to make money. But also know that they are nice and respectful, and they will work with you if you have a reasonable price range and budget. So, say you see a book for $120 and you don't have $120, but you really want it. Just be like, hey man, what's the lowest you can go? And he'll probably hit you with, well, it's 120, I'll do it for 110. And then you can go back and say, well, I'll do it for 90. And then he'll probably, well, give me 100. Boom. There you go. $20 off the price. It's kind of intimidating, especially with like an experienced rare comics dealer, but they're all very friendly as far as I know. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and the rare comics dealers in my area, you got Terry from Terry's Comics. He's been in the industry for 40 years. You got Harley Yee Rare Comics. You got the guys from Bobocon Toys and Collectibles. They're all extremely professional, nice. Oh, and you got the guys from Cloud9 Comics, Ken and Jeff. I've known all of them for years. They're extremely nice, helpful, and if you just work with them and act respectfully, they'll work with you and act respectfully as well. You know, they can help you guys get your collectibles for a decent price. So haggle. Step 7. Cosplay and pictures. Now, this is for both genders. There will be a lot of people, attractive people, cosplaying. There will be very chiseled, muscular men without shirts dressing as their favorite comic book characters, and there will be really attractive, slender-bodied, big-boobed girls in, costume. You'll see a lot of people lately, as of late, dressing as Aquaman. You'll see a lot of, or at least a lot of dudes dressing as Aquaman. And you'll see a lot of girls dressing up as Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. And you'll notice a lot of people in high heels. You'll notice a lot of people with just in bras or half shirts. You'll notice a lot of dudes without shirts. You'll see people in booty shorts. All part of their cosplay and their costume. Don't ogle. Don't be awkward. Don't be creepy. Don't harass them. Don't follow them. If you want to get a picture with them because you like their costume, sure. Make sure if you're going to put your arm around them, don't grab their ass. Don't grab their boobs. Don't grab the dude's crotch. Be respectful. These people are here to have fun just like you. And it's a big thing at Comic-Con. Sometimes people, especially, I guess it generally goes more for girls, that girls get harassed because they wear costumes and they're attractive and whatever. But, this can happen to guys too. Harassment goes both ways. Make sure that you are respectful of anybody and everybody who is in costume. Don't be that creepy person who, ends up having to get kicked out for harassing people. It's not okay. That's a common sense thing. I feel like I shouldn't have to put it here, but somebody said I should put it here, so I'm putting it here. Just, don't harass people. Watch the hover hand. And don't ogle. If somebody's, like abs are really nice or somebody has really nice breasts, don't just stare. That's rude and it's not okay. And that's, I think, one of the more important things, because that's one of the biggest things at Comic-Con, when people get scantily clad and then they get harassed. But they're there to have fun. They're generally very nice, and if they're in costume, they probably are expecting to have their picture taken. So just be polite and ask them. Don't just start snapping pictures. Go up to them and say, "Hey, I really like your costume. You look great. Can I get a photo?" And then just be done with it. And that's all you really need. So, yeah. Moving on. Step 8. Con exclusives. Sorry, I had to go look. A lot of you guys will know that Comic-Cons, I don't know what this thing is. So Comic-Cons will have a convention exclusive booth. That's where you can buy all the things at the Comic-Con that you can only get at that Comic-Con for that year. Generally that includes exclusive t-shirts, exclusive lanyards, tote bags. Some retailers will have special promotions. So like this year at the San Diego Comic-Con, there's going to be a special limited edition action figure set of Marco and Alana from Saga. There you can also get, like, last year there was a special exclusive Stormtrooper from the new Star Wars movie. So every single convention has con exclusives, and if you're into those exclusive Comic-Con things that you can't get after the convention, you can only buy on eBay for double the price, make sure that you find the con booth. The line will be long. It will be long. Fair warning, straight up, that line will probably take you all day to get through. Not all day, like an hour. They're long. So just prepare for that, and make sure that you have your money. I can't express that enough. But yeah, so we'll go on to step 9. We're almost done, YouTube. Thanks so much for sticking around. So let's go. Kids. This is step 9. So I guess this, if you don't have kids, you can skip over this. But Comic-Con, generally, they don't allow strollers unless it's for like handicapped or disabled kids who can't be picked up and carried around by their parents or can't walk on their own. One thing, just be vigilant with your children. I take my 4-year-old to Comic-Con at least one day of every Comic-Con that I go to, unless like I'm traveling or whatever. But please be like cautious and aware of your kids. Know that you will have to carry your kid. If you're bringing your toddler, they're going to get tired. You will have to carry them. Toddlers can get really heavy after being on your shoulders for an hour, being in your arms for an hour. You probably won't be able to bring your stroller. And, you know, just watch them. I've seen little kids, or I've seen, you know, you don't want your kids to get lost. You have 4,000 people crammed into a tight little convention center for a big Comic-Con. Make sure you're holding on to them. Make sure you're watching them. Make sure you're, you know, they're not getting into anything. I've seen kids, you know, who get out of their parents' sight and go destroy, you know, $1,000 statue. I have seen it. Little kid ran away from his parents, came up to the next booth, knocked down a statue, like a handmade, like, you know, hand painted $1,000 like statue. It was pretty bad. Made a big scene. So make sure that you're being vigilant, holding on to your children. They want to have fun too. There's going to be a lot of stimulation for them. They're going to be very curious. Just talk to them, show them things, make sure they understand that they can look but not touch, unless you know, the exhibitor says it's okay. And then just, you know, be mindful. That's really it. If your kids are crying, take them to the rest area, help them relax. It's a lot of stuff going on at once. I'm fortunate because my 4-year-old is a massive nerd, and he understands not to touch big shiny things at Comic-Con because that can lead to trouble. But if he ever wants to see something, he asks me, and then we go ask the exhibitor, and, you know, generally they say yes as long as he's gentle and careful. And I would expect everybody else to act accordingly with their children as well. Yeah, I mean, that's all just common sense. So, moving on. Final step, guys. So, step 10 is celebrity signings and photo ops. Very important thing that you need to figure out about celebrities and photo ops. Couple things. You need to make sure, A, you know their schedule. B, you know where they're located. C, you know how much their photo ops and signatures cost. Keep in mind, they do not take card. They do not take check. They do not take money order. They do not take trade. Cash only. If it's a high-end celebrity, if it's like an actor from the Avengers, if it's Stan Lee, make sure you line up early. The early bird catches the worm. They have allotted times for their schedules or for their signings, and you know, it's kind of like a first come first serve thing. If you get there, if you say, you know, Stan Lee has a signing at, oops, sorry, my phone. If you say Stan Lee has a signing at 2:00, and you get there at 2:00, the line is already going to be capped. You get there at 10:00 when Stanley, or when the lines first open, you know, you're going to be the early bird that catches that worm. That's another thing for celebrity photo ops and things like that. You got to be in line early. Make sure you bring food, water, comfy shoes, and entertainment. Some people bring fold-up lawn chairs. Am I joking? No. I have brought a fold-up lawn chair because I was in line for Stanley one time for like 2 hours. So those are things you really need to prep. You need to make sure you know exactly where their booth is, and make sure you rush there because everybody's going. Everybody's going to be going there. It's a big thing. So for celebrities and their photo ops, please make sure, and don't be rude, don't cut people, don't run, don't push, don't shove. Get your lawn chairs and essentials or whatever, find the line, get there as early as possible, and be patient and wait. Don't get there right at the last second, because that will screw you up. But that's really it. So let's now jump to conclusions. So in conclusion, guys, thanks for just sticking around and watching this. I think this was like 20 minutes long-ish, maybe 22 minutes long-ish. So thanks for just like sticking around, watching it. I hope this was really helpful. I hope I, you know, taught some people some new stuff. And, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This whole video was just to kind of help you kind of know what to do and how to do it. But these are all just from my personal experience. If you guys have a different experience, if you guys get straight to the front of the line, no problem. That's great. But if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more stuff like this, please hit the subscribe button. I'm still shell-shocked and amazed that there's 250 people following me. super grateful. Great thing to wake up to on 4th of July. What? But yeah, man. So also make sure you check out my website. It's gonna be above. Do a weekly blog, and then yeah, that's it. So we'll see you next time, YouTube.